I've been seeing a lot of people hate on this game and just completely blow things out of proportion with this game. I'm not going to do that. That being said, this game is far from perfect. Welcome, all fellow wannabes. Welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I do claim to be the wannabe critic. Today we're reviewing a video game. We are reviewing the new Battletoads 2020. Now, this is a series I've been thinking about doing the past week or so. Someone actually, I saw someone posting on Instagram. They were talking about Battletoads and if they were going to play it. My initial reaction was no. But then I had forgotten that it was on Game Pass. And then it just kind of clicked in my mind. You know, a lot of people who know me as a PlayStation guy. I love PlayStation. But Game Pass is inherently the best deal, not only in gaming, but in entertainment, period. There are so many good family-friendly titles on the platform. I thought to myself, I pay for it. Why not utilize the service in way of YouTube form by doing some reviews? So I decided to start with Battletoads. So in a way, this review is kind of taking into consideration not only the price of the game, but the fact that I played it on Game Pass. And with each time we do something like this, if it's on Game Pass, we're going to be taking the Game Pass side of things into, putting it into the conversation. Just because Battletoads is on Game Pass, does that mean that Game Pass is inherently good or that Battletoads even really adds anything to Game Pass? That's going to be the type of discussion that we have. Now, I do have a, chopped up review of gameplay and things like that I'm going to show you, but before I do that, I want to tell you about popcultusa.com. They sent me this dope natural light hat. They know I love natural light. My hair looks awful, so I'm going to put my hat back on. If you use my personal code, _wannabecritic, you're going to be able to get 30% off your entire order and get you some officially licensed, geeked out swag. It would really mean a lot, and it would, put in a good word with the company for me. So without further ado, let's just get right into the review. So Battletoads 2020 is developed by DLALA Studios as well as Rare Studios, and is published by XBOX Game Studios. Now, it's worth mentioning DLALA Studios are the original developers of the original Battletoads. The story is delivered in a Saturday morning cartoon-esque sort of way, tongue-in-cheek humor, akin to the likes of something you might find in a Rick and Morty episode. And I have to say, there were multiple times in the story and in the dialogue where I actually laughed out loud. And the dialogue, the story, it seemed to coincide pretty well with the gameplay. As I mentioned in the outset, I have never actually played the original Battletoads, but fans would be happy to know that the original style, beat-em-up style, has returned, as well as a handful of sometimes fun mini-games, as well as sometimes kind of pointless and monotonous mini-games that don't really do anything for the game or the story. Now look, I'm not a Battletoads fan. I've never been, into the series, but I think loyal fans of the series are going to agree that this game, even for a beat-em-ups game, is very repetitive. What's funny is that the beat-em-ups side of the game isn't actually what gets repetitive. As I said before, this game has a lot more mini-games inside the game than the actual beat-em-ups style that the fans of the series have come to know and love. And it really does take away from the experience in some places, where I wish they would have just kind of stuck with the beat-em-ups formula for the vast majority of the game. But they don't really do that. The game heavily relies on a lot of different things to make the game more interesting. And I have to say, my playthrough was only about 3 hours, 2 hours and 42 minutes to be exact. If this game is warranting multiple playthroughs, especially on co-op with its 61 different achievements, half of them being ones that you can only obtain through co-op, I don't know how much fun it's actually going to be to try and complete some of these things with my friends whenever I'm playing the game, which is a huge problem. Not to mention the fact that I played the game solo on easy mode, and even though the animation and the cartoony style of things was really effective and I liked the way it looked, there were so many things going on screen at one time that I had a hard time keeping track of everything going on at times. So I just don't know how fun that would be with multiple people on this particular title. Now look, I'm not going to tell you that the story is worth playing the game alone, and I'm not going to tell you that the mini games aren't fun at all. They are fun. They just wear out their welcome, which makes the $20 price point for this game, I think, just about right for what Battletoads is. But that also doesn't change the fact that I wish they would have doubled down on the beat-em-up style of things rather than just giving us a bunch of different options that just kind of felt halfway fleshed out. Now, as I said before, the game, there are good things about this game. There are really funny and fun parts about the game that I think are there for the people who fell in love with the series all those years ago. And I would even say that there are probably, Easter eggs and homages to the older series sprinkled within the game that some people are going to pick up on that I just didn't. That being said, I just feel like there's too much going on in this game for it to be a co-op focused game. I just don't, taking everything into consideration, I can't in good conscience say like, yeah, this is a great game overall. I don't think it is. I do think there's really, really good parts of the game that are a lot of fun, i.e. the freaking beat 'em up side of things that everyone fell in love with all those years ago. I wanted more of that. Rare and DLALA, give me a full game or even just a DLC beat 'em up stuff only, because it was awesome. The animation is great. The game looks great. But as we know, looks alone do not make a game great. The things that make a game great have to do with action in conjunction with the way your emotion gets pulled into things. And I gotta say, this game annoyed me more than it made me happy. But I do think the good things are really good. So I usually give things a score out of 10. I'm going to do things a little bit different for video games. I'm going to give it a grade. In my opinion, Battletoads 2020 is a C+. It's got some great visuals. It's got some great beat 'em up action. It doesn't really break the mold in any way. And even though the story is kind of interesting and does kind of pay homage to those Saturday morning cartoons, it isn't enough to keep the game afloat and make those repetitive sections of the game passable, in my opinion. And then the other part of the question that gets brought into the discussion is, does this game really make Game Pass all that great? The fact that this game is $20 is just fine to me. I think that's a fair price for what you get, and there's probably a lot of people out there that are really, really going to like this game. But that being said, do you remember the Xbox Live Arcade? Because that's the level of quality we're talking about with Battletoads 2020. It feels like an Xbox Live Arcade game. Does Battletoads being on Game Pass add to Game Pass as a service? Yes, it's another first-party title that Xbox Game Studios gets to put into the Game Pass repertoire, but it isn't a game where it's like, oh my god, I have to buy Game Pass just so I can play Battletoads. It's just kind of there. I would even argue, as of right now, I know this is the first review in this series, but I would even argue right now the best games you can play on Game Pass aren't even first-party exclusives to Xbox, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. Okay, rant is over. I know I talked for a while. I know I'm bringing up a lot of things here. It's just, whenever you're passionate about something, you're going to want to critique it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm critiquing Battletoads and I'm critiquing Xbox Game Pass. In the end, I think Battletoads really could have just focused on the beat 'em up style of things rather than just jumping all over the place, which is fine. But what did you think of the game? I know this review is kind of, a big discussion. I like to try new things. You know what I mean? I enjoy trying new things, and I really, really liked talking about this game and really trying to figure out what it was they were going for and how well that thing was executed. So, it is what it is. But if you loved it, I want to hear why. I don't want to argue. Let's have a civil discussion on why you think this game is above a C+. I would really appreciate your input. Let's hear it. So to wrap things up, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, definitely stick around. There's going to be some videos recommended at the end. Also, you can visit the description down below. We have all of our various projects linked there, things that we do. We have a podcast where we talk about things in a similar fashion as what we're doing right now. And you can also check out the website if you want to get in touch with us. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. And thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.